Hello everyone, welcome to another episode of Unscripted and Unchained RPG Review. I am DM Bloodworth, and as you can see by the graphics, continuing my series of AD&D First Edition for modern players. And I recently had a comment on my one of my older videos talking about the world of Greyhawk, and the individual asked if I had done any deeper dives into either the world of Greyhawk or why I use the world of Greyhawk. So I decided I was going to take that take that track on the question of why Greyhawk is my go-to setting. So I am a firm believer that when game systems are written and they have a specific world setting in mind for them, that's what you should use. Sometimes you have world settings with a game system that's written for them, and once again, that's what you should use. So when I think of AD&D First Edition, I only think of running AD&D First Edition in Orith, the world of Greyhawk. There's a lot of reasons for that, partly nostalgia, but really I think it's more along the lines of because they were both written, roughly the same time. Greyhawk actually appeared in OD&D first, but Gary Gygax wrote AD&D First Edition primarily to function in the world of Greyhawk, and I think that they mesh perfectly well. And that has nothing to do with the stat blocks are written in the way that AD&D First Edition presents stat blocks and all of that, because all of those type of things are interchangeable. You can put any game system stat blocks into a world setting, and it's not going to be a hindrance to running it that way. It's the feel and the things that are like hard to put your thumb on, as to this is why they work so well together. I think that's just something that you get as a sense or a feeling, or you just can't pin it down very easily. So that's the primary reason why Greyhawk is my go-to setting, and primarily not just for AD&D, but I use it for any Dungeons and Dragons as well. I was never indoctrinated into AD&D Second Edition, and then tied to the Forgotten Realms. I've always been a Greyhawk fan, and that's where I will most likely end my days when I'm still playing Dungeons and Dragons, will be in Greyhawk settings. So let's talk about the things that make Greyhawk a go-to for me, and what I think is really a special setting. So I'm going to switch views here so I can show off some things. So I have Greyhawk both in the OD&D box set. I won't open that up at this point to show, but this was my primary introduction to it, and that's the gold box, and the world box setting that came along with it. Along with, I'm going to make this statement, all right, that this is the most iconic world map in tabletop role playing. All right. Now I know some people might say, "Oh, but Middle Earth is more recognizable," or whatever. The Middle Earth map was written prior to tabletop role playing games, and so it was imported later on. This was written for tabletop role playing games, and again, I believe it's the most iconic tabletop role playing game map that exists. So this gives you a time period in which to run your campaigns. And what I've always been impressed by the timeline that is in here is that there is enough breathing room, even within the timelines, that you can set a campaign and have several year long campaign fit within those gaps in the events along that timeline and not have to set foot or step on the toes of the lore of the land. You can certainly insert it anywhere within any of those gaps and probably run a campaign that is almost a real time campaign over the course of years and not really get entangled with any of the events. Those events can put leanings on what your campaign is doing. It can make hints as to maybe where they might, the players might decide to take their characters in. But if they decide not to engage very specifically in those world events, they certainly can do so. So that's the first time frame of the world setting. Then there is the second edition that came out, and this is called From the Ashes, and so it's immediately following the Greyhawk Wars, and so it's a much darker time frame whereas the initial gold box was kind of bringing you up to the Greyhawk Wars. This is immediately following the Greyhawk Wars. I mean, some skirmishes are still going on and whatnot, but that's the next time frame. And then you also have the option of going with the printing a little bit later on. So I believe this is, and I should have looked ahead of time. This is 1998, and this was a little bit earlier. So this was, this is still going to be, this is 92. So this takes you beyond the war, and you're back during a time period where things have sort of settled down, but then some of the dark past is starting to rise again. Forces of good are re-strengthening again as well, and you're kind of getting right back into that cycle once again of the world heading towards a new turmoil. So the fact that there is plenty of flexibility within the various time frames that you wish to go through, and run your campaign in, is the other reason why I really do like this world setting. Next one I want to bring up is all of the internet resources that you have at your fingertips. So I'm going to showcase just a few of them, but there are many, many others. So I am going to switch views here. I'm going to go to the first one. And I prefer to use this website, which is the Great Library of Greyhawk. Rather than a wiki, I'd rather use, this is a wiki, but it's not like the Wikipedia pages where, I trust this far more. All right, so the authors of Greyhawk, and they list them here, is Gary Gygax, Robert Kuntz, Jim Ward, and Carl Sargent. So going all the way up through, beginning with TSR, and then heading through the time when it was with Wizards of the Coast, and it was first published in 1980. So going further on, and actually that's not even precisely true, because there is the World of Greyhawk, which was the setting that was in the I want to say it's 76 was that book. But anyway, I really do like this page because it gives you not only the background of where it came from, and in the real world background of where it came from. So you have from 1972 to 1979, and then it moves on. I really like the significant player characters of the home campaign. So these are the significant player characters that played in Gary Gygax's home game. and in some cases the player characters of Gary Gygax himself, when others took over the reins of being a co-DM, such as such as Kuntz and probably others as well, but primarily Kuntz. Rob Kuntz was the secondary game master or dungeon master. So you have all of these characters, and it really does hit me when I saw, I see Tensor here because Ernie Gary Gygax Jr. is struggling with some health issues right now, and I of course send my best wishes to Ernie and his wife and the rest of his extended family and everything. It's a tough time to deal with it, and so my best wishes out, and hopefully he recovers. But if he doesn't, then I will certainly follow up with another video, just kind of remembering his contribution to both the hobby, to Dungeons and Dragons in particular, and and the brief. I've never spoken to him in person or even over the internet, other than perhaps an exchange of comments on a website here or there. So anyway, but we have this wealth of significant player characters that you can utilize as NPCs, or you can utilize as bits of lore that you can continue inserting into your campaign itself. So this is just a really great resource for you to go to and to really check out. And you can link into these other, these hyperlinks here, and you can go to the deities of Greyhawk as well. It lists all of the adventures that took place in Greyhawk in chronological order. However, these are not set up as a in level order. So some are high level, some are low level or introductory level. So now I'm going to show you one of the best map sites that you can use for the world of Greyhawk, and this is Ann Meyer's website. So Ann Meyer's map of the Flanaeus. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Greyhawk Grognard has this pronunciation down perfectly. I still struggle with it. But I mean, this is an interactive map, and it is just phenomenal how much detail you can start to pick up with. And when I come over to here, I'm looking for the area that my new campaign, which is starting tonight, is going to be located, and I'm looking for the Cron Hills. Here we go. So my campaign is beginning in Verbabank, and specifically we are going to be doing the village of Hamlet. So this is where my campaign tonight is going to begin. I'm really looking forward to it. And as you can see, this is the map that I grabbed right from this website. And there is the map that I will be using to help acclimate my players to the world setting. YouTube channels that you must follow if you are a Greyhawk fan. All right, and if you want to learn so much more about Greyhawk, these two websites are the place to go. So Greyhawk Grognard. This is Joseph Block. He does a phenomenal job with Greyhawk. He does a phenomenal job with writing his own game system and whatnot. You cannot go wrong with following this YouTube channel. I mean, he is prolific. As you can see, he has 526 videos. He has a great Patreon, which is one of the few Patreons that I actually am subscribed to, and just a great website. You will learn so much about Greyhawk coming to here, and all aspects of it as well. And you can see he pretty much stays up to date. here he's doing a review of the novel Against the Giants, which I haven't gotten a chance to watch yet, but I will. So that's number one. Number two, Lord Gasumba. All right, and so this Greyhawk setting DM with the longest continuous known campaign at 45 years. All right, so that's pretty impressive too. And he, let's go to his videos. He does a long series right now. He's connecting up a lot with Troll Lord Games, and but here he has incredible interviews. He has people on his channel that are on a regular basis, and they are just great people to learn from and listen to. So I would definitely recommend signing up along with this channel as well. And I had a chance to briefly meet him, and I've met Joseph Block a number of times, but I've met both of these men at conventions, at Page 2 most recently, and again, you cannot go wrong coming to either of these two YouTube channels and following them. So, getting back to my basic premise of why this is my go-to setting, I just think that it gives the most flexibility that you could have, and as well as it's there's so many other resources out there, third-party resources. You can still manage to get all of the original books and everything like that for a fairly reasonable price, with the exception of the OD&D one. As a matter of fact, I will grab the OD&D one just to show you its first introduction. Again, I should have thought about that before I did this, but this is why this is unscripted and unchained. So I will get my... So here is my Greyhawk. So here is the original release of Greyhawk, and this is supplement number 1, and this was 1976. So I was right about when it was published. So this is by Gary Gygax and Rob Kuntz, and so if this one will run you probably about $60 to $80 if you're lucky. Everything else, the box set, so the gold box set will run you about $100, maybe a little bit more. If it has the maps, then probably around 100, maybe slightly more than that. And then the other ones were, I just got the booklets of the other ones, although one came with all of the maps as well with it, and they might run you like $60, $80, roughly. It really depends on eBay, like when things happen here or there. Now there is that list of Greyhawk specific modules that you have, and then there's the novel series, right? Whether it be the Gourd series, which is by Gary Gygax, or Rose Estes did a lot of books as well, written in those, and I could have dragged those out and shown those as well. For you to take a look at those. Those, especially Gary Gygax's books, are a little bit harder to get, but hopefully there'll be a time when those get back into the publishing cycle and get republished as the Greyhawk, as the Gygax estate continues to release more and more of his works. The other place that you want to check out as well is Troll Lord Games. Even though most of their settings right now are set up with Gary Gygax's Iggsburg setting, but I'm fairly certain that Iggsburg setting could be placed someplace in Greyhawk as well. And I'm just waiting to see when they do release those, what is their suggestions as to great places to put some of those books and put those books into use into the world of Greyhawk. So again, I just want to part with the same with the same best wishes as I mentioned earlier. So Ernie Gary Gygax Jr., I hope all the best for you and your family. And I will follow up if the news really does turn bad. I will follow up with a separate video. Tonight, I am running my AD&D First Edition campaign for a group of new players. Some have never played role-playing games before. Others have never played AD&D First Edition before. And so I'm really excited about launching this. And we are launching with my heavily modified The Village of Hamlet. So it's going to be a great night of gaming tonight, and I will be doing adventure recaps or session recaps going forward as well. So be on the lookout for those. So as always, I look forward to seeing you on a gaming screen or at a convention sometime soon. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, please consider subscribing. Hit the alert button so you get alerts for new videos. Leave your comments in the comment section. As I've said many times before, I really appreciate comments because comments is what drives content on my channel. I try to be as responsive as I can. Sometimes I'm very fast, like this example here. I believe that comment was put on my comment section possibly yesterday, sometime last night, perhaps, and here I am, probably not more than 12 hours later, responding to that. And I really do enjoy being able to respond that quickly. So, so subscribing, hitting the alert button, leaving the comments in the comments section, liking it and sharing it is also great. Really does help the channel grow. And I had another commenter yesterday that said that he stumbled upon my channel just because it came across his feed, and so it's your interaction with the channel that really helps that happen, and so I'm very appreciative of it, and keeping up the likes and shares, and it gets out there, and I really do appreciate that. So you all have a great rest of your afternoon, and take care.